What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jersey Nick Moto. And I asked if you had questions. You guys had questions. So you asked, and I'm going to answer. Let's start it off with Anonymous Biker. This should be an easy one. All right, Anonymous Biker asks, so my question is, if 4 Harleys leave Jersey City at 6 a.m. Eastern, and 3 Indians leave Philly at 3 a.m. Eastern, and 2 Kawasaki's leave Hong Kong at 7 a.m. their time, and they travel 8 hours northeast, what time will it be when the Harleys arrive, and where will they be, and what time for the Kawasaki's, and where will they end up? Last fact, the Indian passed Bayonne at 5:45 a.m. I look forward to hearing from your answer. What? You're going to have to give me a few minutes on this one. Larry68HD asks, would you ever buy another bike other than a Harley? Well, that's a question I've thought about, over the years, and probably no. Because Harleys are the reason I got into motorcycles. When I was a young kid growing up in Bayonne, New Jersey in the early 80s, one of my neighbors, he always had Harleys. And back then, when you rode a Harley, it was more of a lifestyle thing. Like him and his friends, they were a bunch of rough blue-collar guys, guys you don't want to mess with. And it's not like that today. And I'm not saying I'm like that today, but I was intrigued by that. It was different. They were outcasts. I always felt, even as a kid, I was kind of an outcast. And I'd watch him start up those old Harleys and let them warm up, and then he'd go down the block and settle full of car alarms, and the windows would shake, and I was just in awe. So that's what kind of attracted me to motorcycles. And it was always Harleys. The sound, the look, the classic old school look to them. And I'm sure there are a lot better bikes out there than Harleys, and everybody rides what they want. I'm not a Harley snob. I don't care what you ride, but for me, it will probably be always Harley Davidson motorcycles, because I've thought about, I've ridden an Indian, I've ridden Anonymous Biker's Indian, and it was a really cool bike. I've ridden other brands, but I just can't see me riding anything but a Harley. To me, it has Harleys have a soul to me. I'm sure everybody, feels differently about their bikes and other brands like that, but I think I'll always be a Harley guy, no matter what. Good question, Larry. All right, Mr. G1965 asks, what's up, brother? I'll see you in July. He asks, when are you moving to Tennessee? Did you try that snow ice cream? And do you want me to make you some squirrel to eat? Well, Tennessee, optimistically, we're looking at maybe a 3-year plan. I didn't try that snow ice cream yet because I don't trust Jersey snow. We probably got chemicals in it. Your mountain snow is probably better. And do you want me to make some squirrel? Maybe we'll start with rabbit and then make our way to squirrel. I don't know. Thanks for the questions, brother. Talk to you soon. JP1970 asks, hey, what's up, Jason? Who was the one that got away? I mean, what bike did you own that you wish you still had or could ride one more time? Well, that's an easy one. And I actually made a video about that a little while back. And I'll put the link up there if you want to watch that. But that was my 2011 Dyna Wide Glide. Here's a picture of me. I don't know if you could see with the reflection in here, but here's a picture of me riding that bike on a Tail of the Dragon back in October 2013. It was a Sedona orange wide glide with black flames, and man, I do miss that bike. I traded it in for my road glide. At the time, I couldn't afford to own 2 bikes, and I do regret getting rid of that bike. If I could ever find it again, I'd probably try and buy it back. So yeah, my 2011 Dyna Wide Glide. Thanks for the question, Jason. Hope all is well out there in Elko, Nevada. Shredder Youngblood asks, when are we going moto camping? Then he says, let's see if I have a bike together. Well, Shred, you just answered your question. Get a bike together and we'll go moto camping. Hope you're doing well, buddy. 4 Harleys leave Jersey City at 6 a.m. Huh. David asks, are your political leanings right or left? Oh, that's a loaded question, buddy. I usually don't talk politics on my channel, but I will say, let's go, Brandon. That should answer your question. All right. Dumbass? Dumas? I know who this is. I'm pretty sure it's Dumbass. Dumas asks, when you have to, what will you replace Lola with? And at what point do you stop taking her on real long trips? All right? There's good old Lola. Now, I don't think Lola's ready to hang it up just yet. She's only got about 70,000 miles on the clock. She's still running strong. I'm not ready to retire her just yet. But with stuff I have going on, getting ready for Tennessee, there isn't going to be many long trips in my future. So as long as she can make it to Tazewell, Virginia and Greenville, Tennessee, because I feel like that's the only two places I'm going to be riding somewhat long distance to over the next few years, she'll be fine. Now, as far as a replacement, I can tell you it's not going to be another touring bike. I'll probably replace her with a Heritage Softail. A newer Heritage Softail with the 114 once they get all the kinks worked out of that Milwaukee 8. So that will probably be what her replacement will be someday if I'm fortunate enough to afford another new bike. Now, Lucky One asks, if you had unlimited funds, what Harley would you buy today? Well, this kind of piggybacks on what Dumas asked me, because it would probably be a Heritage Softail, even if I had unlimited funds. I'm not crazy about CVOs. Even if I had a bunch of money, I don't think I'd spend $40,000 on a Harley or whatever they cost nowadays. So it would probably be a new Heritage. Well, I'll do this. If I had unlimited funds, I'll probably buy two bikes. I'd buy a Heritage Softail, and I would buy a Pan America. So that's probably what I would buy today if I had unlimited funds. Thank you very much for the question. D. Hoove asks, my question, Nick, is are you going to throw a huge party when you move to your property? Well, Dwayne, that does sound like a lot of fun, but I'm moving to get away from people, so probably not. Well, if you're ever in the area, you could stop by. Well, then the three Indians leave Philly at 3 a.m. That's the same time the Harleys leave Jersey City. Well, either one of those groups have a good chance of being carjacked in Jersey City or Philly. Randy's Rides asks, hey, what's up, Randy? Randy asks, what are your hobbies other than bikes, and why do people dress so strangely at Walmart? Well, the Walmart one, I don't know, but they do, don't they? It's like they come down from the hills and they feel it's right to go out in their pajamas. I don't know, I don't get it. I think that's a mystery we'll never know. But my hobbies other than bikes, I do a little woodworking. Like I built those bookcases over there, and I built some other shelves for my aunt and stuff like that. So I like doing some woodworking in the garage. I usually do that in the winter when it's too cold to ride. And my other hobby, like you, is I play guitar, but I'm not that good. That's the difference. And I haven't played in a while, so I'm not gonna play for you guys today. I gotta practice again. But the two that I have this Takamine, I think that's how you say it, acoustic. This is from, I believe this is from 1993. I got that guitar from. I was like in the 8th grade, something like that. And this is newer. This is it's a Fender Telecaster, but it's one of the ones that's made in Mexico, the cheaper one, but it's still a pretty cool guitar. And I do like playing from time to time. I used to play a lot more years ago. I just seem to not have as much time anymore. But I'll tell you one stupid thing I did. I had a Gibson Les Paul Standard from, I want to say somewhere like 1996. I mean, it was a great guitar, and I loved it. And I sold it about maybe 15 years ago. And I think I got decent money for it, but I wish I had that guitar today. That's a regret. I missed that guitar. But yeah, I play a little guitar. They're the two that I have. Do a little woodworking. It's just some of the stuff I built. That was a good question, Randy. Thank you. I hope the snow is gone up north there, and thanks for your question. All right, Cynthia asks, AKA Aunt Cindy to me, who is also the person holding the camera right now, when are you going to get me out of here and move to Tennessee? I'm working on it, and you will be the first to know. I know you'd have your bags packed right now if you could. We will get there, I promise. 2 Kawasaki's leave Hong Kong. Who's riding a Kawasaki? All right, Larry 68 HD asks, what kind of slip-on exhaust do you have? Well, Larry, I don't have slip-ons. I have full systems on both of my bikes. On Lola here, my Road Glide, I got a Bassani 2-into-1. I went with 2-in-1 for performance reasons. I like the performance of the pipe. I like the sound. It doesn't have the best finish. It didn't hold up too well, but that's probably just because I abused the shit out of this bike and ride in the rain a lot. But yeah, I'm very happy with the 2-in-1 Bassani Road Rage on my Road Glide. On my Sportster, we'll try and sneak back here. They just got Vance and Hines short shots. I mean, you know, they're run-of-the-mill Sportster pipes. Everybody puts them on their Sportsters. Not so good for performance, but I just wanted this bike to be loud and obnoxious, and believe me, the Vance and Hines short shots do the job. Thanks a lot. Hope that answered your question, Larry. All right, so Joe asks, what's up, brother? He asks, how's your chick rotation going, and do you like amusement park rides? Well, as far as amusement park rides, no. But if I want thrills like that, I'll just ride with you and Jerry. When we leave 10th Avenue Burrito, I think that's pretty much like an amusement park ride. And as far as the other question, Joe, I can't answer that. What if they're all watching this? Alright, thanks for your question, brother. We'll ride again soon. Easy Rider Greg asks, how do you deal with all the crowds and traffic up there? You mean this, Greg? Alright, that actually isn't too bad. Well, as far as crowds, because I don't like people anyway, I try and do things early in the morning, like early on a Saturday morning, to avoid as much of it as I can. As far as traffic, that's hard to avoid out here. I mean, I know the whole country is getting worse with stuff like that, but it's still pretty bad up here. And it's getting to the point where it's, the older I get, the more anxiety it gives me, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm leaving. So when I ride up here, you always have to have your head on a swivel. That's why I say it at the end of every video. And you just have to, you gotta be very defensive in your riding or your driving, and try and stay away from all the idiots. And believe me, as the years go by, it's getting harder and harder. But you just gotta try and stay safe. I try and deal with it, but believe me, I can't wait to get out. Thanks, Greg. Rolling Stone asks, when you move, even though we don't like your kind down here, buddy, you is my kind, where is your first motorcycle road trip going to be? Well, it's going to be what we talked about, because it's going to be with you. So it's either going to be the Outer Banks of North Carolina, you know, get a nice bed and breakfast on the beach and watch the wild horses. And all right, that doesn't sound right, but you know, either that, or we're going to do the Natchez Trace down to the Gulf of Mississippi. So either one of those will be my first road trip whenever I have the time when I move, and you're going to be coming along with me. So get ready. Anonymous, I'm going to say they get there at 8:12. And yes, everybody, for all your fabrication needs, check out 812 Ink Garage, my buddy Jerry on Instagram. All right, 10 Rides asks, what made you want to live in Tennessee instead of, for instance, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, etc.? Is it because John lives here now? What made him choose Tennessee, if you know? Most of us are always wondering why so many people want to move here. If you don't want to answer that one, I have one from an old friend who used to ask people in high school, what's the difference between a duck? True or false? All right, true. No, I'll answer that question. I don't mind. As far as why John wanted to move to Tennessee, that's John's business. You'll have to ask John. I can't answer for him. For me, I knew I always wanted to move south. I've ridden to every state in this country, and every time I went south, I paid attention. I always liked Tennessee from the first time I rode to Nashville many years ago. More and more times I rode through it, I kind of narrowed down the parts of Tennessee I liked, parts of Tennessee I didn't like. When I finally met John and he invited me down to his house in Greenville, that it just felt right. I knew that was what I had been looking for. I was looking for something that was rural, yet had a decent amount of jobs in the area. I was looking for an area not that far away where I could get back to New Jersey in a day. And then John living there after we became friends, that was just icing on the cake that I would have a friend down there. Now, as far as I know, a lot of people worry about guys like me or people like me coming down and bringing their blue states with them. So everybody can be rest assured that I'm going to leave New Jersey in New Jersey. If I agreed with the politics of this state, I would stay here. I do not. That's why I always knew I was going to move south. Tennessee just always felt right to me. Those other states you mentioned are very nice states, but it just wasn't for me. So that's why I picked Tennessee. As far as everyone else that's moving down there, I can't speak for them. Thanks for the question, buddy. I'll see you in July. All right, next we have a question from, now the username is DEBA. I don't know if that's initials for something or if it's Deba, whatever it is though. But this gentleman has been a long-time subscriber, a long-time supporter of this channel. He always leaves me the best comments. His question is, bro, now that you've ridden all lower 48 states, what is your top 5 rides/stretches you can't wait to get back on and ride again? Well, so I don't know if I should give you actual routes, rides. Some of them weren't famous roads. So what I'm going to call it is going to be my top 5 best experiences on the bike as I've been traveling. And these are going to be really in no particular order. So here we go. These are the 5. Skyline Drive in Virginia. They'll always hold a special place in my heart because it was my first ever overnight motorcycle road trip. It's a beautiful stretch of road through Shenandoah National Park. A lot of curves, a lot of scenic overlooks, a lot of mountains. And that was my first mini 3-day road trip, 3 or 4 days we did, and that's when I got hooked on motorcycle travel. And a lot of people in my area, in New York, New Jersey, that come up to me and ask me, I want to start traveling on a motorcycle, what should be my first trip? And I always recommend Skyline Drive because it's far enough away where it feels like you're out of your area and someplace different with different scenery, but it's close enough that it's not too far for the first time going on a road trip. So Skyline Drive through Shenandoah National Park in Virginia, that's one of my top 5. Another one would be South Dakota. I'd love to go back to South Dakota and ride again. 2 that stuck out the most are obviously Needles Highway. That's a great ride. I'm sure you've seen it on videos, all different rock formations, little tunnels, views of Mount Rushmore. I mean, that was the first time, besides flying to Las Vegas, that was the first time I was that far west when we did that South Dakota trip. And just to see that kind of scenery in person from a city boy growing up in New Jersey, that was awesome. And probably my favorite road out there in South Dakota was Iron Mountain Road. It was great. I would definitely recommend if you're in the area, whether you're out there. I said it a million times, I'm not a rally guy. I really don't care that I've never been to Sturgis. I would rather go in the off season. We went in June when there was no traffic. I mean, there was rain. Everywhere I go, it rains. But, whatever. If you're out there at Sturgis or you just want to take a trip to South Dakota is absolutely beautiful. Okay, another one would be when we were out in Elko, Nevada, and we left there to go to Idaho. We took this really great roads, and I believe it was Route 225 to Route 51. And it just took us through a bunch of winding canyons alongside rivers and then to a lot of Native American areas. I remember we stopped at a grocery store. It was all Native American owned, and that was just awesome to see. So Route 225 and Route 51, leaving Nevada, going up into Idaho. That was another one that was very beautiful, very picturesque, something, stuff you don't see around here. And that's another one I'll always remember. I've ridden the Tail of the Dragon, which I think it's a lot of hype, that road. It's a beautiful area. Actually, when I finally do move, I'm only going to be maybe an hour and a half from there. I'm sure I'll ride it a bunch more times, but what I really enjoyed was the Back of the Dragon. That's when I was in Tazewell, Virginia with Mr. G and the gang for a minivan. And I think that road's much better than the Tail because it's longer. I forgot what the mileage is, but the Tail's only 11 miles. This was much longer. You have some tight technical curves, you have some nice sweepers, you have beautiful scenery, and I would recommend the Back of the Dragon over the Tail of the Dragon. That was one of my favorite roads, and I think what actually made it so much better was that I was with a great group of people that weekend, and we just had so much fun. So I recommend if you're going to be in Tazewell, Virginia, I would do the Back of the Dragon. That was one of my favorites. And now the last one, and if I had to put a number on it, it would probably be number 1. Not for the road, I was on the interstate, but just for the experience. And that was, I believe we were at that time, I believe we were on Route 10.
leaving Arizona, getting into California. First true cross-country ocean-to-ocean trip. We were riding through the desert in Arizona. It hit 115 degrees. Bikes were starting to sputter and cough, and it was just hot. Yeah, it's a dry heat. It's still hot. And we didn't know if we were going to make it through the mountains. And then all of a sudden, we crossed into California. The desert turned into canyons. Temperature dropped like 30 degrees. And we were just cruising through rush hour traffic without a care in the world into San Diego, then to our hotel in Ocean Beach, right across from the Pacific Ocean. That experience I will never ever forget. To cross the country all the way from New Jersey and end up at the Pacific Ocean in Southern California, which is a state, it's absolutely beautiful. Politics worse than Jersey, but we're not going to get into that. But Southern California is beautiful. That felt like such an accomplishment that we made it across the country. And just cruising into California, getting out of the desert, into the mountains, and ended up in Ocean Beach, right on the beach, right on the Pacific Ocean, with our hotel room with the balcony. It looked like the scenes from a Beach Boys video when we looked out over our balcony. And I did it on old Lola here. And as I did all my trips, and it was just a great experience. So that might not be my top 5 rides, might not be the top 5 roads, but that's the top 5 experiences to me on the bike that I will always remember as long as I live. And hopefully I have more like that in the future. But thank you, bro. That was a great question. As always, like I said, you always leave me great comments. I appreciate the support on my channel. And I think that's going to wrap it up. I hope I answered all the questions. If I missed yours, I apologize. But that was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for leaving the questions. I didn't think anybody was going to ask anything, but you all came up with very good questions. So, as usual, thank you for watching Jersey Nick Moto. If you have not yet, please hit that subscribe button. Helps the channel out a lot. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Keep your head on a swivel out there. Later. Hopefully we're riding in the next one. Weather might be changing soon.